Welcome to Phil Phails. My name is Philip Jones, and today my guest is Hollie Meador. She is a co-owner of Studio Satya, a yoga teacher to kids and families, mostly, but also to adults. She's an astrologer and a naturalist. Wave at everybody, Hollie.
Hi.
They live in all these cameras.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Tiny.
Yeah. They're tiny?
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are tiny. I mean, you're huge wherever you are, but in the cameras,
Tiny.
to fit in there, all of them.
How could they
How
otherwise?
could they? Yeah. Today, Phil Phails at cycles.
Mm-hmm.
Cycles of life, cycles of death, cycles of growth, cycles of...
Everything. Anything and everything. The breath.
Cycles of breath. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're going to talk about.
That's it.
Heck yeah. Just a little topic.
Just a small topic.
We're going to knock cycles out for you guys.
That's right. That's right.
The last thing you'll need to hear about it.
Or maybe the first.
Maybe the first.
I don't know.
Yeah. Who knows?
Who knows?
Okay, so cycles. What is the cycle?
What is a cycle?
Yeah.
Ooh. That's a good question. I guess something that has, I don't know, a beginning, a middle, an end, a back to the beginning.
Right. Stories have cycles. Yeah, like a book has like a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Mm-hmm. But ever like a true end? I don't know.
Ever a true end? It's kind of like, does art ever have an end?
Right.
Like we decide to say, I'm presenting this now as art, but you could do it forever.
You could keep going.
A song, a painting.
Right.
It's kind of an arbitrary time that we say, oh, now I'll let this static image.
I'll show it to you now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And stop messing with it.
Exactly. That's basically all a painting is.
Yeah.
I stopped messing with it.
Yeah. I took my attention somewhere else to mess around.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for a painting, it'd be like there was an empty canvas, and then there was some birthing, and then there was
some labor, some like production, and then stop messing around. Yeah. But then other people's experience with the art begins.
Yeah.
A whole new cycle.
Yes. And they might give some feedback, and that influences the artist or certainly the culture.
Yeah. Ooh. Amazing.
That's a big topic.
I like it. Yeah. Yeah.
Everything has a cycle. You think that's a true statement?
That's interesting. I think so.
What could not have a cycle? I mean, this is a play. I don't know the answer to this.
Right. I don't know the answer.
What could not have a So let's say, take a pen.
Yeah.
This pen was oil in the ground.
I mean, it was so many different things.
Yeah.
Right. And like the life it had to take. Yeah. All
it was
the
like
resources.
In something stretched, probably smashed.
Yeah. Produced.
Formed. Packaged.
Yes.
It's
hauled.
here. It will empty itself of ink.
And then what will you do?
I'll probably recycle it.
You could turn it into art.
I could turn it into art and then stop messing with it.
Yeah.
So this has a cycle. What doesn't have a cycle?
I, off the top of my head, cannot think of anything.
Stars have cycles.
Yeah. Water?
Water could be... Well, yeah, there's the whole...
I mean, it had
There's the whole... what's that cycle where the water rains down and then it evaporates into the sky, and it's a precipitation. Precipitation.
Mm-hmm.
That's a cycle.
It has a cycle. But did it ever have like an ultimate beginning and an ultimate?
This
like,
is the chicken,
right? This is the
chicken or egg story.
No, absolutely it is.
Which one came first, the chicken or the egg?
I don't know.
I think...
Ooh.
I don't know if I can plant a flag in this one.
I know.
I think
it's a tough one.
The chicken came first.
Where did he come from? Where did she come from?
Where did Shiva come from? That's like one of the first Buddhists, like one of the first yogis, right?
Yeah.
One of the first ones. Where did she come from? She would have had to be a she because she had the egg.
Yeah, chicken.
Rooster. Not rooster. Hen. I don't know of anything that doesn't have a cycle.
Right. I can't think of anything. We don't always, I guess, in this human mind, I can't fathom what doesn't have a beginning.
Well, it doesn't have a, there's, in the cycle, there is no beginning. Right.
Like I can't fathom what that beginning actually is, but it's been going.
Yeah. The Big Bang.
Yeah.
If you believe in the Big Bang
I don't
theory.
know. Right.
But there had to been something before the Big Bang.
Sky Woman.
What is Sky Woman?
This is a story from Braiding Sweetgrass. Are you familiar with that book? It's a beautiful book. You should read it or listen to the audiobook.
Okay.
Or both. It's by a woman named Robin Wall Kimmerer, and she is she's Native American and a botanist and a poet. So she has this really beautiful way of weaving together like science and poetry and stories and indigenous ideas into sort of Western, like what we've made of things. But the very beginning of the book, she talks about the myth of Sky Woman, where and it sort of speaks to the beginning of the world. But even within this, I can break it down for you real quick. Sky Woman, like the sky world opens and Sky Woman falls, and as she's falling, she grabs from the tree of life and holds on to something, but she's falling, and somehow there are animals already down in the water world. And geese come up and catch her and lower her down, but they're getting tired and they can't hold her forever, and all the animals are trying to figure out a way for her to stand. And Turtle comes and starts to hold her. And then the animals talk about how to find mud, how to find like dirt or something. And the muskrat eventually makes it down to the bottom and finds mud, and they spread it over Turtle's back. And then she opens her hand and it's all these seeds. And so that's where the grass comes from. And that's where sweetgrass, I think, was the first thing to grow. And it's said to be the hair of Mother Earth. And also comes to the story of Turtle Island. And that's sort of like North America, like the mythology of how that cycle of land started.
From Sky Lady.
Yeah,
Sky Woman.
Sky Woman. Yeah. And I'm sure, I tried to condense that story from memory. So, yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. So the idea of that's how land started.
Goodness. 5 questions about cycles. Okay, so I guess the first question is, that's a difficult one. What kind of questions do we have about cycles? I think it's like, how do we... Man, sometimes it's hard to even know we're in a cycle. How do we be with cycle?
How do we be with cycle?
That's a weird question, but...
No, I think that's good. I think, well, okay, we have like all these opportunities to be within a cycle, right? We can always like pause and take a breath. And that's like, that can reset.
That's a cycle.
That's a cycle that we have control over. We can start it and stop it. We can make it longer. We can make it shorter. But that's one way, I think, to get really present and like be able to access a cycle like immediately. We have the cycle of the day. We have every morning we wake up, every night we go to bed. We can have our plans for the day and then how the day actually goes. And, then we have cycles of the things we do in a day or in a week. We might have our steady rhythm where we might go to a yoga class every day at 9. We might go, so sitting down on a mat and beginning class, I think there's, some like reverence for starting a cycle. At that moment, the cycle of a class, the cycle, maybe that's the only class you go to every week. And that's like your, kicking off your week, or however you want to look at it, wherever it's like placed within the cycle of your week. And then we have like larger cycles of the moon that we can pay attention to, cycles of, we have our birthdays that mark, we can like look back and reflect on definitely this date a year ago. I
just thought of like a complex clock.
It's a very complex clock,
because it is a bunch of cycles everywhere around us.
Cycles within cycles.
That influence us and influence each other.
Yep. Yep.
And there's some conflict or tension in some of them too. I just thought of like, I don't want to die.
Yeah.
I'm going to die.
Right.
1000%.
Yes.
I don't want to.
I get it.
Because I want to keep having this experience.
Totally.
And I have to, being with that death, having a death meditation can invigorate my living.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It could also, freeze or like paralyze my living.
Yep. I get that. And I think that's part of the like free will of how you, I don't know, work through that struggle,
Yeah.
My younger son, he just had a birthday. He just turned 11. And he loves being with friends. Like it's his most favorite thing in the whole wide world is just playing endlessly. And he had a birthday party, had a sleepover. And then when everyone left, he like grieved the end of it,
Yeah.
I know. And he does almost any time like there's a sleepover, not just birthdays, but it's any time that there's that like extended close connection with friends. He like has a little grieving process that he goes through. So what you were just saying reminded me of that, and that we kind of have these like tiny deaths sort of all the time of like, I think of it sometimes could be in the middle of a really good conversation. It's like, I don't want this to end, or like, I don't want this experience to end, and we can't like cling too hard to it.
That's
we can't
grasping.
grasp. It is. And we have to just like move on to, like release, move on, trust that we can maybe have a similar experience in the future.
Oh, I just thought of, we have this union here that will die.
Yeah.
And we'll leave and I'll start tidying up the room and I'll feel a sting.
Totally. Yeah.
When we find connection and closeness and comfort or love, there's maybe a fear that I won't ever find it again.
Yeah.
Like that when you leave, when that love leaves, I'm then that Neanderthal seeking fire.
Yeah.
And not knowing how to make it on my own. But needing to find it out in the world. And it being a scarce resource.
Like real authentic connection.
Yeah. So that's maybe what your son's feeling like. This is intimate. This is nourishing.
Yeah.
And when it leaves, there'll be a vacuum there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we have to.
True.
But that's part of the cycle. Like we need, just like pranayama. I'm just gonna say things. You can tell me if I'm right or wrong. You're the specialist here. But like we breathe in, there's some space there where we're full. We breathe out, and there's some space there when we're empty. And we need all those parts.
We do. We need all the parts of it. And we can elongate those places where we're full, right? I think that's one part of like the pranayama practice is that actual like that retention of the breath in or out, where we're actually fully experiencing, not the action of filling up or the action of releasing, but that like there are actually like 4 parts of the breath where we can suspend that space where we're full and experience that maybe for a little longer, and then release it and really experience fully what it is to be empty. Yeah. And that's almost like, it's almost like the breath as we normally experience it is just like the journey and not the destination so much of like the filling up and the release. But man, there is something sweet about lingering and spending time there. It's like that real, maybe the more that we practice that, the more we're able to be present with the present moment. Like if we're really enjoying it, maybe if we aren't even, what is it like to really sit with an experience even when you're not enjoying it, and then be able to
well, the not enjoying it allows you to appreciate
the emptiness of it. And yeah, exactly. So they both kind of have this like, I don't know, really special space that without practicing like mindfulness of the breath, maybe you don't get to experience as often. I don't know.
Yeah. Workout. Sometimes I talk about bouldering. Well, in yoga, we do these poses and we breathe and we move and we kind of stress our body in some ways. We bend and we hold and we contract.
Sure.
All of that impacts how blissful Shavasana can feel.
Yes.
This sweet release. And sometimes I think of bouldering, I boulder and I put chalk on my hands. All of it makes that sweet release of when I wash my hands at the end so beautiful. I wash all that off and I'm like, this is just the best experience. And there's this just relationship between hard work and some, I don't know, some rest.
Yeah.
You talk about the importance of rest.
Definitely. Yeah, that practice of Shavasana, which is corpse pose, which is
Death pose.
Right. Practicing being still and really releasing and surrendering. And then right at the end of class, it's like really sweet. Like maybe when, I guess in like I would hope that death comes as a sweet release, you know? Like may we all be so lucky.
Yeah.
I know it doesn't always come that way, but
yeah.
But yeah, that's like what one hopes for.
I'm drawn to
practice.
Yeah,
Sorry,
we can
go
practice
ahead.
sweet release.
Yeah.
I'm drawn when I think about the breath, we were talking about it. I started thinking about our culture through the lens of some of the practices that I have now of fasting, of like spending some time, much like the breath, in a state of emptiness and the processes that go on. And then I think, well, our culture really doesn't do that. We just fill ourselves up all the time. Consume.
In all these different ways. Food,
not
drinks,
just food, but
visual, sound.
Yeah, materials, like
doing.
There's a balance here that needs to be realized, I think, for the human.
I think so too. I think I think people are actually a lot of times like aching for that emptiness, but we keep filling it up for fear of like the whatever it is that's on the other side.
So many things,
right?
Emotional, distraction, soothing. Like we've coupled, at least with food, probably with breath.
Yeah, I mean, with so many things, just consuming, ordering.
Think about that flower. We celebrate the blossom.
Yeah.
That's like the food. We celebrate that delicious food right there, right? How do we celebrate all parts of that cycle?
Right. It has to be really intentional. I think there has to, like, I've done a few fasts. The longest I've done is 72 hours, right around there.
Water fast?
Yeah. Water? Yeah, water fast.
Yeah. There's dry fast. You don't have water either, but that's
no, that's
tough.
That's I could do that maybe for a little bit.
I've done juice fast for 14 days.
Okay. I've done something similar for a little while.
I've been playing around with water fast, and I think I've done 48 hours, but I haven't gone to 72 yet.
Okay.
I think I will. I'm working up to it.
Yeah. It's pretty, like once you, I don't know, there is like a hump to get through, and then it like feels pretty easy. And then, that whole process of reintroducing is really interesting. But, I think it's so valuable to spend time without, to actually have that full cycle of like, then when you're receiving again, it feels actually nourishing.
Yeah.
Rather than just habitual or whatever. I don't know. Just habitual, where I do feel like we just get in the habit of like, okay, it's this time of day, I always eat what, or like I have to have my coffee at, whatever it is, like, maybe you don't. Maybe it's okay to go a little slower. Maybe it's okay to feel hungry for even an hour.
Let my body dictate food.
Yes. Yeah.
Let my body give me a signal of, oh, okay, we need this.
Yeah. But I think that helps like complete a cycle also, you know, because I don't think we're meant to just have everything at our fingertips. I think there's there's something a little too convenient where even though we're maybe already full and we keep consuming whatever it is, it's in an effort to fill something up that really has to be emptied first, if that makes sense. And like the lack of like closing that loop, like there's something that's not satisfying to the soul, I think, that that we keep trying to find a way to fill.
We're seeking,
We're seeking, and we're often finding all of these like fruitless things that don't make us actually feel good.
They're not satiating.
They're not satiating at all. And I think a lot of times people are so used to not feeling good, like they don't even notice. It takes breaking that cycle of just kind of mindless filling up.
Yeah.
That that once you break it and you start to make different choices and introduce some fresh cycles in that maybe include those spaces of emptiness, which is more naturally how it's supposed to be, then, you know, I think things become a little more satisfying, maybe.
Yeah. And you love, well, you've heard that saying, or you may or may not have, what is the best ingredient for a meal?
Love.
Well, yeah, that's a good one too. Dang. Okay, what's the second best ingredient for a meal? Love.
Company?
No, hunger. Hunger,
Hollie. Looking for hunger.
I'm looking for hunger.
You're like, no, that's so true though.
When you're
actually hungry?
I've watched people do them like the shows like Alone and these shows where people are out in nature by themselves.
Yeah.
I've seen them eat some pretty disgusting stuff and they've been like, this stuff is so good. And I'm like, really, dude?
Hunger. You're right.
Hunger. People drinking their own urine out there, Hollie.
Yeah.
Like it's a fine wine.
I mean,
maybe not that far, but I'm just saying.
I missed that episode.
Yeah. Maybe that's a different show, but
no. I appreciate it.
I don't know that someone's done that. How can we love emptiness, love the decaying of the rose, love these parts that seem like we need to rush through them just to get to the next pretty part of the cycle? How do we love that too?
I mean, doing yoga. I think it does help. I am trying to remember the exact quote. I don't know if it is. I think there's a quote somewhere, and I don't know if it's someone I knew personally who used to say it all the time or if it's from something, but it was, and I'm not good at quoting, so, but it was along the lines of like, the more you're practicing yoga, like the more you're going to become aware of how different things are affecting your body. And you're going to want to start craving different things. Like you're going to notice you can't eat, right before you're doing a ton of forward fold. You're going to notice like what you eat is affecting how you feel during your practice. And you're going to notice then like what things feel good or don't, like regardless of if you're practicing or not. You're going to start making different choices. And, you're probably going to start like sleeping differently and being more mindful. It depends also on like, it depends on a million different things,
right?
But I want to say like the way that we approach yoga at our studio, it is sort of not just what are you doing on the mat, and we're not just here to like look good in our yoga clothes or whatever, or whatever it is. It's not just about the physical practice. It's about all of these other aspects of the human existence that are incorporated in the practice of yoga. And I think the more you start to become aware of and are intentional in incorporating all these other aspects, I think changes just start to happen naturally. And it's like you start to change one thing and you might notice like how you feel better. And then that leads to changing something else,
Yeah. Some kind of natural change, it's not authoritarian. It's not discipline. It's really like, I just feel better when I do this. So I'm going to do that because I feel better when I do it.
Yeah.
And then so you slowly, like a plant moving towards sunlight.
Yeah.
Like it's not like a bonsai.
Right.
Where you're putting wire in there. It's really just like I'm moving towards the light. And light is some sort of health or wellness or comfort.
Yes. And equally, like when you're tending to a plant, like noticing, when I water it with, the remnants of my tea, it doesn't do so well. It wants just water, and making those changes. Like I think we notice the same things we're nurturing in ourselves, hopefully, right? But it's, again, sometimes it takes breaking that cycle. I think sometimes we can get so used to not feeling good that we don't even realize, and we're just doing the thing that might, hit the dopamine in our brain or, whatever it is, then that will keep you locked into a certain cycle. And you have to be, breaking those kinds of, you have to be really intentional and really motivated.
Our brain is so powerful. It can make any cycle good, even if it's maladaptive.
Yep.
I've been stuck in my life in cycles of, you call them addiction or distraction. We can call them maladaptive coping strategies or whatever we want to call them, where my brain was like fully on board with them being great for me.
Yep.
And that I'd need them. I would say like, this is how I medicate my ADHD or all.
Sure, I get
my
it.
mental gymnastics are like, I'm like Olympic level
10 gymnast.
Yeah.
Give it a 10. Yeah.
Give it a 10, like 5 judges, 10 out of 10. This guy, he wins debates on that stuff.
Yeah.
And so there's this like, how do I step back out of my own bullshit field and really look with awareness? I think what you're speaking to is it starts with awareness, which so many people do.
I mean, hopefully.
Yeah. What's going on in my body as a result of these?
Yeah. Sometimes it starts with the body, the body will start to, I think it starts to whisper.
Yeah.
Little things.
And then maybe it starts yelling.
And then it starts yelling, and then it might just stop you in your tracks.
Yeah.
Right. But each step along the way, it's like we have the choice of bringing our awareness to the reality, the full reality. But again, like that's our free will of choosing, do I actually look at what's being illuminated, what's being shown to me, and then am I actually willing to like make changes, navigate those places.
Probably holistic too. Like your communities probably gives you whispers.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm sure. Like relationship.
There's like nonverbal communication. Yeah, all that stuff is like, what's my health like? It's so complex.
It is complex.
I wish it was simpler, Hollie.
I know. I wish there were a manual, but there's not really.
Yeah.
There's, I think once you get into a lot of philosophy across cultures, I think there are common threads that loop them all together. And I don't know that you have to be an expert in any single one or in all of them necessarily. I think that's what I'm trying to say. I don't think you have to be an expert in all of them, but finding some things that are meaningful, that can kind of guide your path.
Yeah.
Especially initially. I think, and I'm just thinking back on my own kind of journey to yoga. And it was very much like that of just like, oh, this is interesting. And it kind of, I don't know, just illuminated a path. It didn't quite open up. So in college, I found that I had some elective courses and I was like, ooh, I can take literally anything I want. That's amazing. Because I'd always kind of like just stuck to the plan and been very regimented.
Yeah.
And some things kind of opened up. So I took Hinduism as just like what's like the farthest away thing
Yeah.
that I can study. And I really loved the class, and mostly I loved the instructor. She spent her summers in India, and her lectures were just telling stories, and her just remember. She would just stare at the back wall and just remember and show like slideshows of her time there, and like it was amazing.
Yeah.
It was amazing. But then she taught a Buddhism class the next semester, and I liked her so much. I took that class. And at the same time, I hadn't really gone to church previously. But my boyfriend, his dad was a Methodist minister. And so I started going to church, and it was the first place I heard God is love. And I'd grown up like going to Catholic church a little bit, hadn't really heard that there. But I was hearing it in this Buddhism class as well. And there was actually an associate pastor there who was, he was in seminary, I think, and he was writing a paper on the Four Noble Truths and something else in the Methodist Church. I forget at this moment, but how they like overlapped with each other.
Maybe?
Well, no, not in Methodism.
Okay, he was relating the Four Noble Truths to some Methodist ideology.
Yes,
okay.
yes.
Yeah.
And it was just fascinating. He gave me his paper, and like I got to read it.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
I know, it was really cool. And anyways, that sort of, then I had one more semester, and I took the philosophy of yoga as my last semester.
Was it
at
Ashtanga?
UT.
Is that?
Well, Ashtanga is a branch of a physical practice of yoga. So my understanding of sort of the evolution of different styles of yoga is, let me think back. Krishnamacharya was a yogi in India, and in India, sometimes people will go to a yoga practitioner almost as like a doctor of like, I have this ailment, what can I do?
And they're like downward facing dog.
Totally.
You'll be good.
Totally. It's like that.
Or breath. They talk about breath work curing stuff too.
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah. So this one family came with their little boy. Not little boy. He was like 13, but kind of sickly and like not really strong. And they're like, "What? He needs something. He needs to move his body. What can he do?" And so his prescription was this very defined, like place this foot here. I can't think of the word I want to use, but very specific in the placement of the body, and it like healed him. And this actually, this was Iyengar, and he's sort of like the grandfather of Hatha yoga as we practice it. It's the very specific, again, placement of the body, the like. Holding postures.
Alignment
based. Thank you.
Is that the word you were looking for?
That is the word I was looking for.
Nailed it.
Very alignment based. Yes. And then this other family came to Krishnamacharya and had this very hyperactive 13-year-old boy. And I don't actually know if they were 13 at the time. I just imagine them as yeah, making that up. But came with this teenage boy, hyperactive, just like, please help us.
Bouncing off the walls,
yes.
Yeah.
What can we do? And so he prescribed for him this 90-minute long, same practice every time. And there are different series. There's 6 days on, you get 1 day of rest. So it's a different series, A, B, C, D, E. I didn't count that.
Yeah.
A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay. F. I think there are that many series, and it's 90 minutes long. It becomes a moving meditation once you learn it, but it's very physically active and very rigorous. And of course, like channels all the energy. And again, it gives the mind something to do. It gives the body something to do.
A release.
It's just, full release, full body exercise. And that became Ashtanga yoga. That was Pattabhi Jois. And
Pattabhi Jois.
And he kind of brought that style over to America. And a lot of people love it.
Yeah. I guess I was thinking of Ashtanga as the 8-limbed path, though. Because Ashtanga means 8 limbs.
It does.
So there's the physical movement part of it, but there's also those 8 yama, niyama.
Well, yes.
Was that from Patanjali?
Does Ashtanga? mean 8 limb. It
think
might.
it does.
I don't know. It might. I don't know that. But I can learn things too.
I can too.
I'm learning
and I
all
can
the
also
time.
totally be wrong.
No, you're fine. But there is the 8 limb path in yoga, and asana is just one of the limbs. But we often only focus on asana. And this was actually a debate during my philosophy of yoga class back in early 2000s of, is the way that yoga is incorporated in Western society, is it beneficial? And
okay, Ashtanga yoga, not to be confused with Patanjali's Ashtanga yoga, the 8 limbs of yoga. So they seem to be a little different.
There
is
is
a
a
style of yoga
differentiation.
as exercise popularized by K. Patabi Joyce during the 20th century. So they sound the same, but they're a little different.
Yeah.
But the Ashtanga yoga is the 8 limbs of yoga.
Okay.
Okay.
Good.
Put that down.
Got that cleared
So
up.
we're
No,
both
I'm
right.
glad.
We're both right.
We're both right.
Nice.
High five.
How often does that happen? It needs to
So
happen
far, 100%.
all the time.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So that's cool.
Yeah.
What is your cycle with yoga? When you think of your yoga practice, do you have a cycle there?
I do kind of have a cycle, I guess, and it is dictated by my teaching schedule. And that, I try to practice what I am teaching.
Yeah.
And I don't always get like a full, 75-minute practice in before teaching a 75-minute class.
Right.
But I feel like I am sort of always practicing and kind of, putting things together. And then again, it's not always just the physical practice. I feel like yoga has made me more aware of how yoga is happening all the time. When I can still my mind and be present in the moment, like that's yoga. And so like when I go out in nature and can kind of especially still my mind and just be really aware of different things I'm seeing. I love going to new places, but my kids go to something called Natureversity,
Right.
Which is down at Marymoor Seawright Park, for those who know. And it's just a lot of open space to go. There's some trails. There's like some places you can feel like you're exploring, but not really. You're never too far from a trail. But it's great to go there and sort of, I don't know, like notice the changes out there, notice changes like within me, and kind of let the two sort of inform each other, I feel like. So yeah, in those moments, it's like I'm not, doing downward dog, but I'm present and I'm breathing and I'm aware of my breath and I'm aware of what I'm observing and observing out there, observing within. And I think that's yoga.
Yeah. I've started to translate yoga into mindfulness. Like there's somehow synonyms.
Yeah.
It's not just once I get past it's these movements, it's really how present I am. Can I still the mind? Can I, be fully present and realize my optimal self or my true self?
Yeah.
Moment by moment.
Yep. Moment by moment.
And the postures is one pathway or one.
It is a vehicle. It lets you, that's a cycle in itself too. Like coming in, how do you enter into even a child's pose? And how are you present in child's pose? Is it easy to be present? Is your mind scattered? Are you bored?
Yeah.
Are you running through your grocery list,
Yeah.
Or are you just like noticing how the breath is moving? We're like folded in a little bit here, a little more open in the back, a little more compress through the hips and the legs? Like, can I be present with sensations, especially like when I teach yin classes, which I love because it's so counter to what people are normally doing when they're doing yoga. It's like you're sitting with a pose for a while.
Yeah.
And the longer you stay, sensations change and sometimes become louder, sometimes, float through. Your body opens up. You can sink a little deeper into a pose. But it's so counter from how we're normally just sort of flowing through. It's a different type of mindfulness than Ashtanga, right? Where part of our mind can be doing a thing, which I experienced when I was like competitively swimming. I grew up as a competitive swimmer, and I realized I didn't have yoga while I was a swimmer, and I wish I did, but I found yoga after I retired. And then I remember I always felt very clumsy on land, but when I started doing yoga, I was very connected to the breath, and I had pretty good body awareness. But then when I went back into the water, I was like, oh, this was a moving meditation the whole time.
Yeah.
I had no idea. And it was really beautiful to be able to go back into swimming and have this like whole fresh perspective with it, where I had gotten sort of, I was just kind of burnt out from it. And it used to mean one thing, and now it kind of means another thing to me. But I think I think that can be achieved in like an Ashtanga practice. And I think it can be achieved equally like in a yin practice where, we can still the body, notice how busy the mind is, do our best to kind of be with that and settle it down and smooth that out a little bit. Yeah. And get into some different places in our bodies as well.
Open some stuff up.
Yeah. Unwinding like the fascia of the body, and which is the connective tissue. And it used to just be like, I don't know, I go like this because when it's like a fairly new discovery, like probably just, I don't know, from like the 70s, I want to say, is when it first started being like recognized as an important part of our bodies. Fascia. Yeah. It used to just be like, oh, we're doing, surgery, we're doing an autopsy, whatever. We can just like
cut through that. It'll be fine.
Toss it to the side. It's like, oh, wait a minute. Our bodies spent time making.
Yeah, they need that.
Maybe it's important. Oh, it turns out it conducts like all of the like emotional, like energetic energy and information through our whole system.
Whoa.
I know.
That's why it's important that we are doing trigger point and rolling our body out.
Yeah.
And doing those type of practices.
Absolutely.
Because those are releasing the fascia, right?
Yeah.
And that's body work, like massage is doing that same thing.
Yep.
It's myofascial release.
Yes. And we're just learning more and more about it. Like I want to say there's even like fascia that's been discovered like in the brain recently.
Brain fascia.
Yeah. So all kinds of interesting things still unfolding.
People talk about how, I've heard this, you know how there's reflexology, like you can get to all the organs in the hands and the feet. In that same vein, yoga instructors or yoga teachers have said like when we're doing a lot of hip openers, it can like map to childhood wounds and stuff.
Yeah.
Like emotional things can come up when we're really opening our hips and working into that area.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard it and I believe it. I feel like I have had some good releases. Yeah. I remember crying. Like the first time I cried in a yoga class, I was like in child's pose. And the teacher just came and patted my back.
You were crying?
Oh yeah. I cried. And I was like, oh, and I talked to her after and it was like that same thing of like,
you had an emotional response.
I did, for sure. Yeah. I mean, I always did on some level, whether I was, it definitely opened me up to more things that were happening internally, emotionally. Yeah, definitely. And well, okay, with the fascia, something interesting in the yin practice, I'm not like a trained Chinese medical practitioner, not trained, but a student. Like I study.
Yeah.
And I'm always learning. But what I find fascinating is that these meridian lines, which meridian translates as little river, like a channel of energy.
I've seen those at my acupuncturist. He's got like diagrams of human bodies with a bunch of lines all over them.
Exactly. It runs along the fascia lines.
Oh.
Like, so these connection points that we have now discovered, it actually overlays with these things that have been known about for thousands of years that people just like knew.
Yeah.
People just sat with long enough and figured out, which I find that fascinating.
Like Eastern medicine has known about these for a long time through acupuncture. Yeah. And we just needed our science to validate it.
Exactly.
Now we know it's okay.
Now we know. It's real.
Because our science has shown it.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yep. Something we discarded for a long time. Yeah. But like actually, y'all.
But now insurance will cover it.
Probably.
Hopefully.
Maybe.
Your insurance covers it.
I don't know. Good luck with that.
Because I like acupuncture. I've done it. I don't have insurance now, but hopefully I will in the future.
Yeah.
But when I did have it, I would go do acupuncture a bunch. And he even started hooking up electricity to that, and it was like pulsing my body. It's my meridians were getting like lit up.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
Electrical current.
Sometimes he would turn it on before adjusting it, and it'd be like popping off. Boop, boop, boop. Like, you could turn that down, boss.
Yeah.
Well, not
totally.
boss, I think is like.
Probably didn't call him that, but.
Name. Probably Doc.
Doc?
Doctor.
Did you call him Doc?
Probably.
That's neat.
What's up, Doc?
I like that.
I got a question.
Oh, yeah.
Another question.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what number we're on.
I'm not keeping track.
Neither am I.
Good.
There's not a tally. Is there a cycle, a regular cycle to a yoga flow?
That's a good question.
Because I've noticed some things. I've noticed that oftentimes there'll be a back bend at the end, like a bridge pose, or they'll be leading us towards Shavasana, or I've noticed they'll be like stretching at the end before the back bend, or we'll do thread the needle, or what's the thing where you put your leg up at the top? Pigeon pose, or figure fours. And then we'll also have some stretching at the beginning, and then in the middle we'll do a lot of more kind of vigorous, or you'll do your like warriors. You get your warrior energy out in the middle. Am I tapping into something? Is this
you're noticing
a practice?
Absolutely.
Of how y'all do it?
Yeah. It is. That's intentional. And for me, it depends on the time of day that a class is. First thing in the morning, I'm not going to just like start with, something really rigorous. I tend to, in general, really warm up and do some foundational stuff before getting into more of like the peak pose, like what you might be describing with like a big back bend, or
is a peak pose like the balancing part of it?
A peak pose is like you could have sort of like just an overall energetic way that you're teaching your class, where maybe you don't have like a peak pose that you're leading up to. But some poses require quite a bit of warm up. Like if you were going to do wheel pose, or if you were going to do a headstand or something, you would need to warm up the body in such a way so that it is flexible enough to reach that posture, so that you're feeling engaged in the right muscle groups and that, to hold a handstand or a headstand. So yeah, there is a lot of intention in kind of building a class, and then being able to release and come back down, and not just send you off after, okay, that big back bend, and then just lay down and rest, and then you're out of here, like there has to be that reintegration and kind of resetting the spine is how I look at it. And but even, within that, there are kind of smaller cycles at play where, like, I was taught you don't teach like a back bend and then a twist. You always need to go through a forward fold to reset the spine, because that's how our, we're sitting technically in a forward fold right now. And that's how our spine has to reset, right? Like our, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
You got rules. Not rules, but you have like...
Well, we have some
guidelines.
Like, for the safety of the body, for
Is there
the
a bunch
safety
of
the
them?
spine. There aren't too many that I'm really aware of. I mean, the way I was taught it is, I pay attention to the time of day, like I said, and, always like move through it's like you should. Yeah. It depends, right? But it's like there can be two back, like maybe 2 back bends in a row or a twist and a lateral, but then you need to come back through a forward fold to reset the spine and keep everything flowing there, or else just a lot of tension can build.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I agree with it. I've practiced and I've done practices where that hasn't been the case, where maybe some, 2 postures that I'm trying to think right now if like my mind affected.
Yeah, if there was like a
psychosomatic, like a response to it.
You
know what I mean?
You would know, hey, this isn't how you do it. And then your body's like, we're going to validate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hurt down there now. We're a team.
Yeah. Totally.
Like that mind-body connection.
No, absolutely. Which could be, but, I can understand, I think. I don't know. I try to honor that because I've practiced it enough times to where,
it's a ritual.
It is a little bit, but there is generally that wave of a class, beginning, middle, end.
Did you write out your classes in your journey as a teacher? Did you ever like write out, I'm going to do this one, and then I'm going to do that one? And
I still do.
You still do?
Mm-hmm.
You write out your classes?
I do. I write them out. I don't always follow it, but I like having my roadmap, just in case we get lost. I'm like, where did I want to go? Yeah, I have it. But then sometimes it's right on point with like what people come in with. And then other times I have to like scrap the whole thing. And I'm like, well, this isn't going to work at all.
Mark out growth and write down cycles.
Totally. Sometimes you have to do that.
Yeah.
There are some classes, like my kids' classes, I don't really plan out.
Improv them.
Yeah, improv them. So there's some things that I do that are, I don't know. I have like my bag of tricks sort of for how we warm up the body. There's a flow to it. There is also a beginning, middle, end that they can expect. I think there's something to be said for people feeling comfortable enough, because yoga is also a very vulnerable space where you are potentially meeting some emotions that maybe you haven't met recently or ever. And so for someone to feel safe in that space in their bodies, like I think there has to be some amount of predictability as well. And the first time you're stepping into something, you never know what you're saying yes to and what you're stepping into. But I do feel like I structure my classes in a similar way. And I have a hard time breaking free of that too often because, I don't know, people come to know what to expect. And I think there's safety and security and, then that gives them an opportunity to be more in their practice.
That continuity and consistency. It's the boundaries.
Yeah,
you give the known boundaries.
Yeah.
Allow people to be free within that structure.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've thought about what you said about it being a vulnerable and authentic, or a vulnerable and space, an intimate space. And it really is. And the thought I had is like, I stretch my butt all the way out. It is my butt is just as stretched out as it could be. And I'm just like, that's an intimate expression.
Yes.
Not just the butt, though.
True.
My butt's all the way out there. And look around. Everybody's butts are just as stretched out as they could be.
I know. Yeah.
And then sometimes I'll put my arm into a position where, like, if someone came by and stepped on it, I'm devastated.
Yeah.
Destruction. I'd be no more arm.
No more arm.
Right?
No.
You know the one where you, like,
You're threaded?
Yeah. Or what's another one? There's a couple of them where like my arm is in a vulnerable position. Don't you think? Well, why are you laughing?
No, that's true. I guess I'm laughing because like when I play the ocean drum during Shavasana sometimes, and I'm like stepping over people. I'm like,
step on the arm.
Please don't.
But Shavasana is probably fine. You know how like,
I don't know.
You know how
like,
when drunk people get into a car wreck, they're always fine because they're loosey-goosey? That's fine.
Oh my gosh.
They're not always
so
fine.
Funny.
Forget what I just said. But,
oh my gosh.
But like when we're in Shavasana, we're probably all jello. You step on an arm, leg, we're probably like, I didn't even feel it. I'm already dead pose,
But some people might be holding on.
You think they're rigid?
I don't know. Sometimes I think there is that vulnerable space and like, can I fully,
The Tao Te Ching, man. The grass, the flexible grass does not break. It's the rigid branch. The rigid branch breaks where the flexible one. I talk about that
with trees all the time. Like when I'm doing it with kids' classes, especially, will be a mountain and that's very strong, and then will be a tree and that's strong in a different way because of its flexibility,
Yeah.
ability to move with the wind. Yeah, it's true.
Big intimacy in that room.
Yeah, big time. Yeah, there have been times where I've set up like in a circle where everyone's mat is at the wall. With the idea of that being, I do that in like my crawlers and toddlers class and in the kids
where they'll
classes.
be looking at the wall.
No,
we'll
we're
look
all
at each
seeing
other.
each other. Yeah. Which is interesting because you have the wall right there. That's always at your back. You're never really like exposed to anything else. I tried that in a yen class once. It didn't bode well. It wasn't terrible. It was just different, and it didn't. I haven't done it since.
I wear regular clothes to yoga. I wear shorts and t-shirts and stuff.
Yeah.
Tank tops. But I also cycle. I ride bikes.
Yes.
And I used to just wear regular clothes cycling. But this group that I cycle with, they were like, hey, man, you need to wear some kit. They call it kit.
Okay,
That's the uniform they wear.
Yeah.
And it's one of the guys, but they know I'm doing this show and then I'm kind of like tight belt. I'm like not spending any money on anything.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, we want you to have this experience. So they brought over one of the guys, Trevor. Thank you, Trevor. Awesome gift. Brought over some of this kit, these like bibs and shirts. And they were all like super tight.
Oh, yeah.
Like I feel
Familiar.
almost like a superhero, but I feel kind of like badass. I like put it on. I'm yeah, boy. I'm like looking good.
Totally.
I wonder if ladies feel that way in yoga because ladies come and they're like they have that bike equivalent equipment in yoga.
It's true.
Why aren't the guys doing that? Why don't guys start to like rock some like full on superhero
cape and everything?
Do you feel like that when you wear those yoga pants and stuff?
It's funny because I transitioned to not wearing tight pants anymore.
Why did you transition? You cycled. This is a part of your cycle.
It's a part of my cycle.
But you did wear them before.
I was in them, yes. And
how'd you feel?
I mean, I felt, I did feel like I was putting on a uniform. Like it was like my teaching clothes, and it's still
teaching clothes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is my, I'm
did you feel powerful?
Yoga. Not really. I don't know.
No.
I can't say that I did.
Okay.
But I can respect that.
No, I want to know your experience though.
I guess I just started to feel like too constricted in it.
Oh yeah. Well, it's hugging your body.
It is hugging
really
and just
big time.
Yeah. So I have started opting for looser pants and yeah.
When did you go into that part of your cycle?
It's fairly new. I don't know, like maybe last summer. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah.
Maybe about a year.
I wondered why ladies
great about it.
wore those tight pants.
I'm not sure. I think just yoga pants haven't always been like that either.
They haven't?
It's funny. Well, for a long time, it was like a little tighter and then like kind of flared at the bottom. It was very,
like a bell bottom?
A little bit bell bottom. And then they went to like 3/4 length and a little bit open, still kind of flared and open, a little loose. And then somewhere, I couldn't say what year, I'd have to think about it. We're probably like 10 years deep in the tight yoga pant phase. A lot of more people are coming out with like the harem, like the real super baggy. I can't go there.
You don't go there.
But like I appreciate it. I love it every time I see it.
I think I talked to somebody, one of the yogis, that like the tight clothing on ladies brings a different aspect of the practice to men or to me.
Oh,
because there's that confrontation with sexuality in those rooms.
Yes.
Because you see those shapes and it is engaging.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's exciting. And here I am really with a practice of going inside and being with my breath and my movement. And then like, we talked about the butts being fully open and stuff.
Totally.
You catch a glimpse of that, and then it's like I'm out of it, and now I'm in this more mammalian brain, like a sexual place, and it's like, then there's shame.
Yeah.
It's like a whole bunch of stuff, and I'm like, gosh, can we just help everybody out? But I think maybe it's good for me to be with that stuff.
I think it is. I think that's actually really wise to even be able to notice that like I've been like I go through this whole cycle and I can recognize it. And I think perhaps somewhere like in the recognition of it and even like being able to articulate it.
I'm scared to talk about it, to be honest.
Sure. Yeah, I get that.
It's like a brave space.
That is, yeah. But to be able to be like aware of it, because then I think if you're aware of it, it won't like catch you off guard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's like, okay, I see you. I know that that's happening, but I also know like who I want to be and how I want to feel and like the space I want to be in and the space I want to create. So like I am aware of that and I can like that's the thing. It's not that's not like ignoring it and tucking it away.
We got to fold it in
like,
some way.
Yeah, but you can just like let that. You're like, okay, you're there. Like it can be there or not. But I'm not gonna like hook in and spend my time. Like, I'm not going to pull you up in a chair next to me and we look at the world together.
Yeah.
Like,
I have a purpose here. I'm here doing yoga. This is, you know.
Yeah. That reminds me of a poem. I can't recite it. The Guest House by Rumi, where it talks about like this living is a guest house and we welcome all of our emotions. We don't know like what they might have in store for us. Are you pulling it up?
I am. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's great.
Is it The Guest House?
It is, by Rumi.
I love reading poems and these things. The Guest House by Rumi. Do you want to read it or do you want me to?
Oh, sure. I don't know.
You gave me 2 answers.
Well, you asked 2 questions.
Oh, yeah, I did.
That's funny. Oh, okay. All right. The Guest House.
I answered it.
This being human is a guest house. Every morning, a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness, some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all, even if they are a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture. Still, treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them all at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whatever comes because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. I love that one.
I love that.
Yeah, I read it in class sometimes. I feel like I could read it every time.
It reminds me of what you resist persists.
Ah, yeah.
And loving what is. Like
being with what is.
Being with what is.
Yeah.
With some level of acceptance. This is equanimity.
Absolutely. It is. It's this is here, but I don't have to attach onto it. That can be part of me, but not all of me. That's some of this experience, but not all of it.
Not all of it.
And yeah, maybe the more I can invite it in, it can clear some things out that maybe I wasn't even aware of, you know?
Probably speaks to some shame I have around sexuality in general in a way that I can't just celebrate the form.
Yeah.
And say, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, that's a beautiful form.
Right.
And it's not necessarily sexual, but
sure,
kind of in the same way a peach is sexual. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, how did geometry do that to us? Just shapes.
Right.
I don't know. It's weird.
It is, but like, yeah. Then maybe if it's like, why can't like that idea of like being able to see, you know, a body shape as a form and appreciate that, if that's like your intention and what you want to get, like the recognition of what is has helped you kind of define that. And then like that can be something to actively work towards. Like you feel that come up, but then maybe, okay, how can I remember I want to like appreciate this as a shape. I want to appreciate this as a peach.
Not as
not as this other thing. Not that, okay, this other thing has shown me what I actually want to see.
You know when I'll know I'm doing that? You know when I'll know I'm doing that?
When?
And because this has happened to me before. I've seen a butt. A clothed butt.
Sure.
In tight clothes.
Yeah.
And I've been like, that's a good butt. And then like the thing goes up and it's like a guy. And I'm like, uh-oh. I like the guy butt.
Yeah.
But I think when I've made it there, I'll be like, that's a good butt. It could go up and I'll be like, I'm still cool with it.
tool. Yeah.
I'm so
totally.
cool with
That's
loving
cool.
that butt. Because it's the shape,
Sure.
not
the desire.
Not the want
lust,
to like.
not the
that's the
whatever.
efforting. That's like this urge around the shape, right?
Yeah.
This like drive to procreate or whatever we want to call it.
Yeah. Yeah. But then can I just appreciate something for what it is?
A butt.
And yeah, I think that can be applied to a lot of things. Not just even like physicality, but like qualities that you appreciate in people. You know, like
can I let that live in them and appreciate that in them without seeing the lack in myself?
That, yeah, for sure. And use that as like, yeah, I appreciate that about them. Maybe how can I introduce more of that in my own life? Like that's a quality I want to cultivate myself. Or, you know, that's a quality I really like hope to have in a friend or something you know, like how do I don't know. Can I appreciate this thing in this other person and it not be like tied to, again, tied to desire, tied to lust. It can just be an appreciation.
Yeah.
And
like art.
Just like art. Yeah.
I like that. You want another question?
Sure.
I just gave it to you.
Yes.
No, that was the question. What question?
I know.
What question do you think we need to answer? What question? What do you think our last question should be? What do you want to say about cycles?
Okay. What do I want to say about cycles?
And yoga and Ashtanga and astrology and naturalism and all the things that
oh my gosh.
you're such a traveler within. You're a journeyer within all of these things.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like I can talk about them for a long time. And like we talked about earlier, it's like there are cycles within cycles happening all the time. And one of the things, I'm always trying to not bring in too much astrology into just my yin classes, even though my study of yin and the fact that I get to intentionally teach those classes, prepare for those classes, think about those classes twice a week, it keeps me kind of in that space. And I don't do quite as much with astrology consistently in that way, mostly because I'm like living a lot of astrology right now. My chart is kind of like lit up in a lot of ways.
Really?
And so it's kind of intense to look at all the time and not get like too, I don't know, worried about. That sounds really dramatic, but yeah. But there's a lot that's happening and I'm living it and I'm like, okay, I'm vaguely aware that these things are in the future, even, you know, happening right now. And like, okay, I'm aware of that. But when I'm thinking about like seasonally what's happening and with regard to how I teach the yin practice, which Chinese medicine runs through 5 seasons and focuses on different organs that need support in any given season. And then there's elements we can work with and emotions we can work with. And the more that I'm studying these things and I'm seeing correlations with like the zodiac signs that each of like, you know, in spring we have Aries, Taurus, and Gemini, and how just how much of like the practice of yin yoga, as I'm teaching it at least, like correlates to these things and they sort of like weave in and out of one another. And anyway, so then I teach like workshops that more intentionally focus on these two things and how they correlate to one another. So I don't know. What do I want to say about cycles? I'm just really, I'm constantly fascinated with, I don't know, like the cycles of our lives, how we are coming to, you know, it's April 1st. Oh, it's my friend's birthday.
It's April Fool's Day.
It totally is.
We didn't fool each other. Or did we?
Oh my God, that's amazing. That's amazing. Which I love. Actually, I thought about that. I'm like, oh, why did I like schedule it for April 1st? It's fine. But I love that you use the Fool card as your
Oh yeah,
from tarot
I do. Yeah,
on your thing. I'm like, yeah, that's appropriate. That's great.
I'm the Fool.
Oh, well, yeah.
The Fool's Journey.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. My friend who is an astrologer, his I think his whole thing, I don't know if he still uses it, is the Fool's Inclination. I think, is that what he says? Is that his website? The Fool's, I'll have to look it up.
Yeah,
I haven't looked it up in a long time. Anyways, his name is David. Okay, cycles. So, okay, we're at April 1st. Like, we could, in theory, like look back at all the April 1sts in our lives and see if there are like reoccurring themes. Like maybe there are. You know, even as we come into this April 1st and April 1st next year, it's like the sun is relatively at the same place, but everything else is in a different place.
Right.
And we have, you know, it's almost not like a cycle in terms of like beginning, end. It's more like a spiral, right? And that we sort of get the opportunity to come to this similar place and reflect and see, like, again, that past experience, what's happening now, what are my intentions, how does like current circumstance and my intention line up to the next best action for me to take or not take. And I think we're always, whether we're conscious of it or not, are always sort of working through those concepts for ourselves. But when, again, we're really intentionally looking at and considering where we are in space-time reality, kind of what's maybe on the forecast for us according to the stars, maybe how we're feeling in our body, how is the breath moving in this moment, you know, again, just all these cycles within cycles. And it's like the more that I'm opening myself to, I don't know, like incorporate all these different things that I'm interested in and look at all the cycles of nature, right? Because like that's just in its own timing. And it's like how, like the miracle of like how that all functions without any input, you know, it just goes. And how much of that is alive in us as well, because we're technically part of nature. There are some indigenous cultures that don't have a separate word for nature because
we are nature. We are definitely part of nature.
A separate word for human, I should say.
Okay.
Separate word for human because we're not separate of nature.
We're
we are
animals.
nature.
Yeah, we are
Why are
natures.
we like? How are we? Why would you have a different name for us? You know. But the more I can like be aware of and incorporate all these different parts of myself, you know, I may not be making the absolute best choice for myself in all moments, but like there has been a lot more ease, even when things are challenging, even when, like in January, I had my computer, my backpack was stolen. It had my computer, it had like notebooks that were precious to me.
Yeah.
My wallet, like
no way.
All of it, like stolen.
That's like devastation.
Truly.
Yeah.
It was really hard. And that day I kept, you know, blaming myself.
Of course.
Why did I, you know,
why did I put that there? Why did I do this?
Totally. And
what am I going to do? Like you're in,
Yeah. And then like my focus started shifting to the person who stole it and like what they must be going through that became like their only option. And like, I was like, oh, I hope, you know, I do write down, especially like my yen classes where I'm reading poetry and reading things. I had like one of those notebooks was in my backpack, and it's like, oh, maybe they read something, like maybe something meant something to them, you know, and it'll help them. And, you know, I would still like to have like the notebooks back, especially. I know I've relinquished that definitely. But sometimes when I'm driving nearby where I know it was stolen, I'm like, little purple notebook. Like, do I see it? You know,
if you're out there,
tiny purple notebook,
and you have,
I don't know.
Hollie's purple notebook. You can keep the computer.
Yeah. I mean, that's fine.
She doesn't really care about the wallet.
No, those have been replaced.
There's some like notes in there that she wants back.
I would love it. But
you could send them to me and I'll get them to her. You could send them to Studio Satya.
Yeah. Just tuck it under the
thing.
Yeah.
What are you going to do with it?
I don't know.
What are you going to do with it?
Nothing.
You're not going to do anything with that notebook. You probably threw it away.
Yeah.
Or maybe they dipped into that notebook enlightenment.
Maybe.
And maybe they're like practicing somewhere and they've like,
maybe so.
It's transformed their life. That's a good story to tell yourself.
Maybe. Yeah.
That was a catalyst.
Yeah.
For growth and change.
Yeah.
For that.
Maybe.
Little ne'er-do-well.
That's right. But like, if that had happened a year ago, or I don't know, however long ago, I don't know that I would have handled it as well, or I could have still been, beating myself up or whatever, whatever it is. And so it's not like, recent times have been just super easy and like, oh, I'm just really in alignment with, my choices or whatever. But I do feel like the practice of yoga and this idea of, I don't know, being connected to myself, being connected to like the, I don't know, inner workings of my own community, of extended communities beyond, what I can see and directly interact with. I do believe that everything ripples out, and I feel that amount of connection as well. And sometimes things return. And I feel like that can be a cycle, and it might be returned in, kindness of a stranger, in a serendipitous interaction, and where just, how did this thing line up, and I don't know, just being like paying attention to all of it. And I think the more that I'm incorporating all these parts of myself and like letting that be known, also, I feel, I don't know. I don't know exactly like everything I'm saying yes to or how the path is unfolding in front of me exactly, but like I have some clarity in that like this path right now feels really good. Yeah. I don't know if that answers your question.
I think it does.
Okay.
I think that wraps up our 5 questions.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Cool.
And normally after 5 questions, we do like some fun improv time. And I think like we could play improv games totally. I love doing that.
Yeah.
I kind of want to fold in your love of astrology.
Ooh.
And
okay.
maybe I could find my chart really quick.
Sure.
Is that something you could read and we could discuss?
Yeah.
And would that be
That'd be
fun
fine.
and playful for you?
Sure.
I mean, that's the most important thing.
Okay. I can even, I have a program on my computer.
You have a program? What does it do?
Well, it just like creates your birth chart, but in a way that I'm used to reading it.
Yeah, let's
so
do it.
something that I talked
do it.
about.
I'll get my birth certificate. You'll need that, won't you?
I mean, do you know what time you were born off the top of your head?
That's why I need to get the birth certificate.
Okay, get it. Yeah, well, I didn't know.
It's not a formal thing. Oh, I've got to fill out. Do I need my social security card too?
Yes, blood sample. Just kidding.
All right, I'm going to go grab it. You use your computer.
Well, yeah, I'll explain it.
Whoop. Certificate of live birth.
You're alive?
That's what I got here. State of Mississippi, you guys.
Here, what's the date?
Okay, the date. Oh, September. Why am I looking at the paper? I know the date. That's the part I have. No brainer. September the 12th, 1977.
Okay. What time?
4:17 a.m. Dang. Mom was up. Yeah, she was up late.
Wow.
That was probably like one of those like, I was in labor for 14 hours type of stories, huh?
Yeah. Probably. Where were you born?
Meridian, Mississippi at Jeff Anderson Memorial Hospital. Do you need the address of it? Okay. The state registrar was Judy Mulder.
Judy.
Old Judy. She's state registrar.
That's right.
Mississippi State Board of Health, y'all.
All right. So.
Oh my God. You're going to have to take a picture of that and send it to me so I can share it with the people. Yeah, cool.
You want to share it?
I'll definitely share it with the people because you're going to talk about it. I want them to have a visual representation of it.
Yeah, that's great. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So what I had, are we good?
Yeah.
Okay. What I had kind of talked about before. So this is like So I use something called the whole house system, where it ends up wherever the horizon line was when you were born. That's called the ascendant.
Okay.
So you can think of that as like if the sun were rising, that's like the point of
At 4:17 a.m.
The ascendant was at 19 degrees of Leo. So you're a Leo rising.
I'm a Leo rising.
Leo rising. Oh, and your Virgo sun and moon.
I'm a Virgo sun and moon.
Yeah. Almost. You're right before a new moon.
Okay.
So the moon was just about to come into conjunction with the sun. And Mercury is co-present, which Mercury is the ruler of this sign, of the sign of Virgo. It's actually one of its homes, and it's an exaltation, meaning it's really strong there. So the way that the way that this is all divided, so whatever house the ascendant is in becomes the...
You're good.
I like it.
We're moving around. I'm just...
Yeah, you're good. That becomes the whole first house. So
the
then...
ascendant, let me make sense of this. So when I'm born at 4:17
a.m. in September,
there's the sun is setting somewhere. Is that what you're saying? The horizon. When you say the horizon line, what does that mean?
That is like if the sun were to be rising, it is where the sun like peaks over the horizon line, right?
Where it is. And what
so that establishes
astrology, what stars are behind it at that time?
It just locks in like where, so when you were born, this is where all of the visible planets were. I don't have the outer planets.
Okay.
I don't have like Uranus and Neptune and Pluto showing right now.
Okay.
So it's all just the visible planets that we can see with our naked eye. Yeah. So like I can even, let me go forward a couple days. So someone were born... Here, let's flip it and I'll just put it at chart 1. So if someone were born on September 17th at 4:17, the ascendant is still in Leo. It's at a different time, or it's at a different degree.
Oh, okay.
And the moon has moved over to Scorpio.
Whoa.
So they have a different, right? So in like Vedic astrology and Indian astrology, we look at like the top 3 as like the biggest definers of like who you are.
The top 3 are?
Your ascendant. Because it moves the fastest.
Okay.
Then the moon, and then the sun.
And all those for me were in Virgo?
You are a Leo rising, Leo ascendant, and then you have Virgo moon and sun.
Okay.
So here, I can show you maybe a little bit better. Oops, no, let's check. Let's bring you Philip Jones.
Boom.
Jones is your last name, right?
Jones is my last name, yeah.
Let's see. Okay. So I can show you by hour, just to show you like why the ascendant is important. So if you were born...
Because it moves fast.
It does, every about 2.5 hours. So if you were born even an hour later, your ascendant would have become Virgo, and then you would have had like your main 3, which some people have. Yeah. So,
but I'm Leo ascendant.
You're Leo rising, Leo ascendant.
Rising.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
Wow. What does this say about me and
what does
my
it
life
say about
and
you? Well,
what I'm doing?
It kind of depends on what question you're
ask
approaching. You can ask me a question.
Ooh, I can ask you a question.
So this is like approaching an oracle. And the more questions we have, I think the more specific we can get with like where we're looking, what we're looking for, what we're looking at. So, yeah. Do you have any questions?
I have questions.
Okay.
Of course.
Ask a question.
Given that for like 10 years, when I got divorced, I started software engineering, and I did that for 10 years, and I found that it wasn't serving me very well. I like had mental and emotional kind of challenges from it. I went on like short-term disability a couple times. And it just really wasn't great. And so I stopped doing that, and I started this TV show, and I've kind of thrown caution to the wind and like thrown all of my energy and attention and into it, hopeful that I'll be able to find kind of like a frog jumping off a lily pad blind, like a blind frog jumping off of a lily pad.
Yeah.
Hoping that there's a lily pad on the other side. And so I guess the question I have is like, is this crazy? Is this stupid? Will I be able to find some like sustenance from this endeavor? That's definitely a big question that's with me all the time, and whether or not it's foolish to be doing it. You know?
Yeah. Let's see. I'm just getting a feel for some places where you are in your chart. Let's see. When did you start doing the show? The show. Yeah.
It was about, it's been more than a year, a little bit over a year.
Okay.
I can tell you when I did the first one. I think
sure.
I started doing it when it was like October of last year.
Okay. 2024?
You know, maybe it was 2023, because I've been doing it a year and a half total.
Okay. Yeah.
But I know when I released my first episode.
Okay.
I can tell you that.
Sure.
But like I started doing it because I had to learn all the equipment and I had to do a bunch of stuff before I actually released one.
Yeah.
I'll look and see when my earliest release was. I think it was like, I recently had my 1 year anniversary.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. I just have to scroll to the beginning.
No, you're good.
It's like hundreds
You
of
post a lot.
I know.
No, you do. It's great.
I try to. Well, I guess I do. Okay. The first, it says it 11 months ago. Sort by most recent. Yeah. So this one was published April the 7th, 2024.
Wow.
Was my first.
That's almost a year?
Was my first release.
That's amazing.
April 7th. So not quite a year yet, but almost.
Yeah, almost a year. That's cool.
Dang, I'm coming up on a milestone.
Yeah, you are. In a week, right?
Yeah.
That's big.
That's big.
That's really cool.
I will have rooted.
Yeah,
my root
officially.
Year. My root year.
Your rooting year. That's great.
All right, what's it say?
Well, what is it saying? Let's see. Okay, so a year ago. So what I did, I pulled up the transits.
Transit means
how this, like where the stars were
that year ago.
A year ago.
Okay,
and I just put it at noon.
And that's how it relates to my birth.
To your chart. Okay. Yeah, just kind of seeing like where it lights up for you. And I'm realizing that like, it's a little bit arbitrary in the day. But so I'm not going to think about like the house that it's lighting up too much. Aside from, it's like the timing. Let me see. Yeah. Okay. We can look at that. So yeah, I just set it to noon to see, just kind of give us a place. What's interesting, so you have you were born at almost a new moon, and you birthed your channel at almost a new moon.
Really?
In the sign of Aries, which is a very initiatory. Some places it's in some places, in some like, I don't know, circles, it's considered like the actual new year, more correlated to, the equinox when spring is actually beginning. And yeah, there's all that like action, that like new birth, new energy,
new endeavors energy, like new things.
Exactly.
So I started something new at a time when I was supposed to.
Yes.
Well,
And it may be like this sense of like starting new things. Like, I don't know, it might be something really interesting to look at movements of the moon. And if like around new moons, you have this sort of impulse to like start a new thing, that might be just something naturally that is subconsciously or consciously sort of like always at play a little bit. And then, okay, so the sign of Aries for you is in the 9th house, which the 9th house can represent things of like philosophy, higher education. It can relate to like foreign travel. It can relate to kind of a lot of different things. It can relate to like the law. It's the joy of the sun. It can be very like prominent. It's a very like, I think of like outward kind of things, like teaching, like what you've learned, you start to teach.
Ooh.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So I find it really interesting that you started.
And the show is very much about me learning.
Exactly.
And it's like I learn philosophy. I learn all these things from a bunch of people that are skilled and intelligent in these areas.
Yeah.
So it's like that matches up.
It does, definitely. And I mean, the sun, so since you have Leo as your ascendant, as your first house ruler, that makes the sun sort of your Time Lord.
Time Lord. It's an interesting word.
No, actually,
the sun is my time
he's your
lord.
birth chart ruler. He's your birth chart ruler.
Okay, he's my birth chart ruler.
Yeah. The Time Lord is more of a perfection. So every year we kind of develop a different house a little bit more intensely. If we think about like when we're born, we're sort of developing our sense of self, like getting into our body, who we are, figuring out our personality a little bit. The second house is more related to like material possessions, your values. You start to become more aware of like your family, that you're part of a family, that you have, certain things matter, certain things don't. Like we, don't stand on the table. We don't throw our food, things like that. So we can start to think about like how that develops. But again, it is sort of it's a cycle, but also a spiral. But anyways, okay, so this sort of describes like how we assign different meaning to each house. And, as I showed you that, if you had been born an hour later, everything would have been shifted. So it's like every 2.5 hours, like the planets are moving, getting pulled through the zodiac, right?
Okay.
And sort of like lighting up different places. So in theory, if you were born an hour later, like some things might look different for you, in life. So what am I trying to say with this? Okay. So with the sun, any place that the sun is going to be a little bit more prominent for you. So the sun moves through each sign, in about a month. So you might be more attuned to like yearly cycles, and you might start to notice like that you're, that you have more energy in Aries season,
which is in April.
Right. It's right now.
That's when I have more energy and probably more willingness to go out on a limb.
Maybe, yeah. Well, the sun is exalted here in Aries, meaning it's held on high. It's finally like, broken free of the darkness. It's starting to be triumphant and get to where it is actually, the house of Leo, that's its domain, its temple. And so, yeah, once it gets to Leo, you might feel just like super invigorated, like.
And that's what month is Leo?
It starts August through like August 20th
the end of the summer.
End of the summer. Or I'm sorry. It starts in July and goes through till August, and then Virgo starts.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, you might be a little more sensitive to movements of the sun, and find if you start to pay attention, like, or if you even reflect back, like just yearly cycles, like maybe you do feel like when winter comes, you really want to hibernate, and that might be just more naturally part of how you move through the world,
I think I probably do. I think it's true. I feel more excited during summer and spring.
Yeah. But yeah, that's really interesting that the thing you created. So this is where the stars were last year. Yeah. And then also like Jupiter is here and the sign of Taurus. Jupiter can be it's the largest planet. It can be a planet of abundance and expansion, like a lot of things. So maybe you probably had a lot of ideas and a lot of like enthusiasm. And the 10th house is related to career and things that you're known for out in the world.
And that's where it's at? It's
well,
in
that's
the 10th
where it
house?
was when you launched.
Yeah,
When you launched, it was there. Natally, you have it in the sign of Cancer, where it's actually exalted. It has a little bit more influence. It's this like feminine water temple. It's in your 12th house, which is interesting. I personally, I love the 12th house, but it can be a place of traditionally like sort of, I don't want to say negative things, but more of the things that we don't naturally look at and tend to, which actually it sounds like you have an affinity for being able to turn towards those things. Actually, it's kind of the things that live in the darkness. It's like
shadow.
It is a little bit shadow. It's like the labor before birth. It's a very liminal space. It's a transitional space.
Yeah.
It's a lot of like tending of like the death of things, tending of childbirth, tending of those transition places that aren't always, they're not glamorized, you know? Yeah. And
it's not the bloom.
It's not the bloom. It's not the full blossom. It's the thing that we have to go through to get us there,
right,
for sure. Right. And you also have Mars here, which is not super strong, but they're kind of like balancing each other out. So it's not like you're getting sucked down and getting sucked into this place of like this darkness and the shadow. But it's also, you know, it's a place you're not really like scared of visiting. So I feel like that's a really big strength and is, you know, it's relating here in a sense of it's a sextile, which is it's the nature of Venus. So it's very nurturing. So I feel like things that show up in your career house, if they're in alignment, they can be very nurturing for you and for others as well. Yeah. And of course, like right now, excuse me, in this moment, Jupiter is in Gemini, which it's not super strong there, but it's about to move into this place. You're going to have a return. I can't think of when Jupiter is moving into Cancer. But you'll have a Jupiter return, and anytime a planet, you know, comes and cozies up, it's like a new moon kind of feeling, where there can be like a regeneration. It's a revisiting. It's again that time for reflection, and but in sort of a more cohesive way, not in a like
confrontational, like next to each other.
Yeah. And then as I'm talking even about the 12th house, something about like you being born like just before a new moon, that's like the darkest time, the balsamic moon, when things are like especially mysterious. And there used to be, you know, sometimes there would be like rituals like during the dark moon phase of the moon where it would disappear from the sky. Where has it gone? We have to do these things to
they do rituals?
Bring it back up. Yeah. Sometimes some people back in the day, you know, but it used to be a little bit scary, but you're like, I'm not scared. I'm not scared.
I'm not scared.
I ain't scared. And and you had Mars going through Cancer for a little while. It had a big retrograde in Cancer. So it's going to come out in not too much longer. And then you might feel sort of like refreshed and renewed in a little bit. Let's see. In like 3 weeks, at the end of April, Mars is going to move out.
And that's good.
That's good. Just, it's been here for a really long time. So like this, Mars is a planet of action and of movement. And for that to be moving into your first house, like you may have felt sort of like maybe stuck a little bit in some things.
Yeah.
And like, there might be this just like renewed energy of like,
that sounds good.
Yeah, I can.
Because sometimes there's like depression of wanting things to be further along. And just feeling like sometimes the fatigue of the journey and you need that reinvigoration, that renewed kind of like passion for it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just need to catch a fish,
Totally.
to know there's fish out there,
I do. Yeah. I mean, I think that's a perfect analogy for Mars and Cancer and like this nurturing water sign.
Yeah.
Yin, feminine, like ruled by the moon.
Yeah. Ruled by the moon.
Yeah. Which is fast moving, but like just so gentle and,
and also
mysterious, not super defined, a little bit challenging to capture.
Yeah. Move, shape shifting.
Totally. Where are you going to show up now, moon?
Where
are you? Yeah. I just want to catch a fish.
Just want to catch, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that all like relates to your career stuff you're doing with the show.
That is intense. There's like a lot to astrology. It's almost like a separate language.
It is
a separate language.
It is a little bit. And like, yeah, it's developing your own language for how all of the planets, like they show, it all just depends. Like they have their significations and there are things they could. Each planet has
its own. Is it like tarot cards where each tarot card has its own kind of like meanings and definitions, but there's also numerology on top of that too. And then there's also symbology.
It's all of that. Yeah. So it's like you have, significations of the planets, topics of the houses.
And houses is the months, right? There's like 12 months.
The house,
so there's 12
this
houses.
will always be the first house. Here, let me show you the, I wish we could like show the screen, but, so this will always be, let me just show now. And
Leo will always be my first house.
Leo will always be your first house, but it won't always be the first house. Okay. So, right now, that's cool. Right now is Leo rising. It's your time, man.
Yeah.
Right now. I'm just kidding. But like, okay,
You're just
can
kidding?
go. No,
What?
I'm not kidding. I was just
Okay.
But no, it is. Like I don't know. Pay attention to that. I wonder if maybe we even like start to have sort of our cycles throughout the day where I don't know, like at 3:14 every day, you might feel like, hell yeah, I can do anything. Man. Maybe, I don't know. So let's go.
I can do anything.
I love it. So if we go forward by hour, so in 2 hours, it's going to be Virgo rising, right?
Is that nap time?
And maybe, that's very nurturing. Nap time. And then it just kind of, moves through. What was my point in bringing that up? I forget.
That's okay.
I got swept away by our song.
The song. Yeah.
It does it every time.
Well, we love that song.
So good. Just took me to a different place.
Yeah.
So I don't know what I was going to say. Rewind. Remember. I don't know.
Astrology time.
Language. Oh, I know. That's what I was going to show you. Got it. I got it. I came back. Okay. So right now, Leo rising, Leo is the first house. Now, 2 hours later, Leo is the 12th house. First house stays, right? But this is
it all moves that way.
That is, what is it called? Procession of the equinox. Is it?
Whoa.
No, that is how the sky is changing. So Vedic astrology uses precession of the equinox, I believe, and where it's like by minute degree and like technically, like I'm an Aquarius sun, but now I'm like actually a Capricorn sun based on how we've changed places in the solar system and blah, blah, blah. I don't know.
Yeah.
So there's a way that it's just not accessing. So that you can see how the sky spins every hour or every couple of hours.
I see that.
Significantly moves, right? And so that is like taking the planets with it, right? Like, so we started with the sun in the 9th house, but in 2 hours, it goes a little bit lower in the sky.
Yeah.
But the sun is moving technically the opposite way through the sky.
Oh.
So that's its secondary progression. I think progression. I want to say progression. So there's, God, I wish I could remember the term. And
Dude,
it's just
this is
not
so wild. You have such a depth of knowledge in something that's like really.
So we have this thing that's always kind of pulling us in one direction, but then the planets, we can see it probably in the moon. I'll just kind of go ahead. You see how it's going 4 degrees.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah. 5 degrees, but it has moved down in the sky. So the planets are always sort of like the planets are getting pulled in this direction. They're getting pulled clockwise, but they're actually moving themselves counterclockwise. So why am I bringing this all up? Well, the first house always stays right here, but the sign moves and shifts, right? And so then that, like right now, Sagittarius is the first house on my screen.
Yeah.
But then in an hour, it'll switch to Capricorn.
And the house has some significance in your life. Like one could be about business, or one could be about romance, or one could be about all the houses have different cultural or relational or.
They have different topics that they sort of work with all the time. And then the signs come in, the zodiac sign comes in and sort of like decorates the house.
Yeah. To tell you what's going on within that aspect of your life.
How it feels for you.
And then
planets are there natally and then they pass through. And so a really good way to kind of get a sense, you're tied to the sun because it's your birth chart ruler.
Leo, yeah.
Yeah, but anyone can do this where they're tracking not the phase of the moon, but which sign the moon is in, because then you start to get a sense, I think, a little more quickly of like how you're interacting with each sign, if that makes sense, and each house as well. So you can maybe start to get a sense of like, oh, during an Aries moon, I always have a little more energy, or like I'm natally a Pisces moon, I'm very emotional. Like I will just get tired and emotional, and I'm like, where's the moon? Like Pisces, like 95% of the time.
So we can start to kind of tell our future or tell how we might respond in certain situations based on what's going on astrologically.
Yeah, absolutely. A little bit. Like we can't predict all of it.
It's not, we shouldn't put any bets down on the lottery or on the...
Not necessarily.
But it can give us some indicators.
It can inform, for sure. Yeah. A man that I studied with in one of my trainings, his name was Tom, and he was like 76, and we were studying eclipses, and he came back in the next class, and he had gone back and charted his whole life. So he had like a lot of information to pull from being 76 years old. And the number of like big life events that happened around eclipses for him.
So you go and you look at when the big life events and see what was going on in the stars, and you might see some like patterns.
You start to see patterns. So when I sit down and do a reading with somebody, if they have a really specific question of like, this thing always happens around, it's like, okay, tell me some dates.
Yeah.
And then I go back and look, and then I can see, you start to be able to see like, okay, this house is very significant for you. Or, oh, it turns out this planet, when it's we can notice like it's having these interactions, like these two planets are interacting with each other consistently. That might be something to look for in the future and just notice. Yeah. And it's different for everyone. And that's where it depends, because it depends, it depends on so many things. So there are some universals, and then there are just so many unique actual experiences, lived experiences.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. And so it's giving space for all of it. And I think that speaks back to like fate and free will of like, there's some fated.
Yeah. It's like 1% or whatever the percent is.
I'm going to have to work that out. I don't know.
You're going to have to work that out. Like I see Hollie back at home with a whiteboard. She's like 1%. No,
I don't know.
It's actually 3.42%. Phil, listen. I did the math on this.
Yeah. So did that answer your question?
Yes.
And show some.
It seems like there's a lot of positive stuff there. Yeah, more questions. More questions.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about your life story some.
All right.
Where were you born?
I was born here in Austin, technically in Georgetown.
You're an Austin native? Well,
Yes.
Georgetown, close enough.
My parents lived in the neighborhood, the Crestview neighborhood.
In my neighborhood.
In your neighborhood. I'm pointing like, it was like a couple
it's right
streets
over.
over.
Right across the street.
I wasn't born in that house. My parents liked the hospital in Georgetown. They were letting my mom do this like hypnobirthing, basically, which was like real
hypnobirthing. They've got her under hypnosis.
I mean, it was all about breathing, ironically. And you had to have like a focal point. I didn't learn this
There's like
until
a watch.
No. So you got to pick your focal point, and they chose, my mom found this like painting of these two horses like running through the woods, a white horse and a black horse.
Whoa.
I know. And it's still hanging in my parents' bedroom right now.
Racial harmony.
I mean, tell me about it. Yin and yang.
Yin and yang.
But get this, Philip. Okay. We'll get back to like, okay. So they took it. They took the painting, took the horse painting. I was born at the end of January. The whole day, my dad drove a Jeep. There were no doors. There was no roof
doors
on it.
He's a wild man.
Tearing to the to the Georgetown Hospital.
Yeah.
And
that was country back then.
It was country. Like, who knows? Who knows? Wild West.
Wild West.
Basically. Yeah.
What year was this?
79.
Okay. So, you're 79.
No.
That was all just farmland.
It was just all farmland. I'm sure of it.
Just
I-35, just nothing.
And your mom is passenger side.
Yeah, holding on to the painting. I don't know.
Come on.
Let's get there. So I don't know. I won't tell the whole birth story, but I was born. And when I was 8 or 9, we moved to Houston. And that's where I ended up going to high school.
Are you an only child?
I'm an only child.
Okay. You and Carly, both only child.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy. So we moved to Houston.
Well, Mary was too, right?
Mary
she's got
has a brother. You're good. Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
Don't be sorry.
Yeah. Okay, so y'all
remember everything about all of us.
Yeah. Or else. Shavasana smash.
Yeah, right. That arm. Don't let it out. That's awesome.
You moved to Houston around 8?
Moved to Houston around 8 or 9. And then I can't remember when we got horses, but we got 2 quarter horses.
Black and white.
Mm-hmm.
No way.
Yeah. And you know what? I don't think I really put it together until like much later in life, where I was like, whoa, no. What I didn't put together, I think I always kind of noticed it, but I never thought too hard about it. But then I didn't know that was the painting used for
your birth.
My birth. And I'm like, whoa, my mom.
So you have that painting now today?
No, my parents still have it hanging in their bedroom.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's still
in
there.
The family.
It's in the family, but like my mom focused on that.
Then years later had a black and white horse.
Yeah. Isn't that wild?
It is wild.
So I was born in Austin.
Yeah. What was your family like?
Oh.
Your dad seems like a badass.
He was
wild man.
Yeah, he was a little bit wild. I think, he had gone to Vietnam and he had done 2 tours at Vietnam.
Whoa.
And I think that really, I think
PTSD?
I think so. And within that, I've realized how strong he really is. Mm-hmm. Like, he didn't really even talk about it. Like he wasn't, proud of it per se.
Yeah.
And he came from a military Southern Baptist family. Like he had spent time during World War II living over in Europe, and his grandfather was in the Air Force. And so I think he had a very strict upbringing, and then served in Vietnam and came back and was just like, whatever. And he did, he used to do a lot of cliff diving. He would do cliff diving like out at like Paceman Park.
Yeah. And, Kid Cliff.
Like back when,
the
lake was
a bit cliff.
I've jumped off it. Yeah, jumped off it. But he did this tour like around the country doing like stunt diving and stuff.
Stunt diver.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know.
Wild
And
man. Yeah.
he used to have like a catamaran that he would sail all the time that I remember going out with him on when I was little. And but he just didn't, he was around, but not really present, and there was definitely like a lot of anger in the house, like there was a lot that he wasn't fully working through. When we moved to Houston, he started getting into cycling and running, and I think that was really therapeutic for him. He and my mom are both still very active, and he cycles a lot. My mom's more of a runner.
They're still together.
And they'll go and do like 5Ks together. They're actually coming into town on Sunday. We're all doing the Cat 10K.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
I know. Yeah. I'm not a runner. I don't like it, but I'll do it.
I'm not either, but I've been running with my daughter.
Oh, you told me that.
Yeah, I run with my
that's
daughter.
amazing. I don't know. I'm like 6 miles. I can do 6 miles. I can walk 6 miles.
What was the family like?
So, okay.
What was it like being an only child? Were you lonely?
I was lonely and not. We had family in Austin. But
cousins and stuff?
I had cousins. I had my great aunt who was like my grandmother, and she like took care of me when my parents were at work, before I started going to school. And I have like, that feels like home to me, actually, like her home. Like if I have dreams or something, like, and I feel like I'm at home, it's usually that house that it's in. I grew up with my cousins being sort of like brothers and sisters a little bit. I had 3 cousins who I was really close with. And then we had family in Lockhart as well. My mom grew up, technically an orphan. Her grandparents came from Lebanon, and there was so there were other Lebanese people living in Lockhart already, and so they went and lived there. And her mom was the oldest girl of 9 kids. Wow. I think there were maybe 2 boys who were older than her, but she got pregnant, and her partner, like his family wouldn't let him be with a Lebanese woman. So she had my mom out of wedlock, and was taking care of her, my mom was kind of raised like with her aunts and uncles in some ways, but then her mom was killed by a drunk driver when my mom was like 8 months old. So then she was raised by her grandparents until they passed away. And then my great aunt, who took care of me, when I was younger, she had like legal custody of my mom. She was 13 years older than my mom. So I don't know. I've been reflecting on it a lot in terms of, a lot of things.
Yeah, what would that be like?
Yeah.
No dad, no mom.
Right.
Raised by like this older generation.
Yeah, as kind of a first generation.
Yeah.
With this like big family in this space of like, where do I really... It's always interesting when I even talk about like who people are in my family. I'm like, well, they were this person like biologically, but they were like this to me.
Right. They were like a mother to you, or
Totally. So it's interesting to have that and feel like there is like this really big family and big ancestry, but then like to be the only child and know, like, it's interesting. I think from a young age, I knew that both of my parents had their stuff. I didn't know what it was, but I knew from a very young age that like my mom didn't feel really well equipped as a mom. And I knew that, but I always saw her as a really wonderful mom. She's so nurturing and so wonderful.
Yeah.
And when I got pregnant and was having Micah, a lot of stuff was coming up for her, and she kind of like affirmed all of that, which was really interesting to be like, wow. And I think this informs some of my work with with my own kids, raising my own kids, and then just working with kids in general, of like how much they're actually aware of energetically without us saying anything, how much we're actually maybe always aware of. And so, I both my parents were there, but not really there. Like when I was home without my cousins or something. I was, you know, playing in my room a lot on my own. I had a really good imagination. I think I'm really good at being by myself and not feeling alone. Like sometimes it felt lonely.
Yeah.
But in general, I really enjoy my alone time. And I don't know like fully what to attribute that to. Probably partly my childhood. Partly I think it's like in my birth chart of just like being okay, being alone. Yeah, but it was good in a lot of ways and hard in a lot of ways. And I really like respect my parents a lot, given everything that they like, that I know they've gone through. And I know that's just like scratching the surface of awareness. And as we've gotten older, like my dad has shared more things with me, which is really, really great. And my mom has a little bit as well. It's been interesting, kind of watching some things kind of still come up and me being like, I'm here whenever you want to talk. I'm like, we had a talk not long ago, and it's like, this is what I do this. I hold space for people and people share things with me, and I'm happy to hear anything you want to share, you know?
Well, with your parents, it's a little bit different because they can kind of shed light on things from your past.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why it was like that, or that's why it's like that. They can,
Totally.
and almost like on who you are as a person because they're so influential.
Yeah, I'm hopeful to get more.
You are?
More stories from them. Yeah, and more of their experience from them. But yeah, I think it's, you know, my mom was a really good mom and my dad was present as best as he could be. And
sounds like your dad had some struggles that allowed him not to be a part of the family.
Yeah. I think, well, it wasn't until I think my brother-in-law first asked him some questions about his time at Vietnam. And afterwards, it was the first time my mom said it was the first time she heard some of the stories that he told. And I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, so he probably had some, had to be difficult to be a warrior in those arenas and then come back and be in family. It's such it's destruction in life, right?
Yeah.
And how do you, I don't know how that happens.
I don't know.
It's got to be difficult.
Yeah. It does. I remember one time I was working at a place in downtown Austin, and I would go like get sandwiches at this place on Congress with one of my friends who I worked with, and there was this homeless man who was there, and he was super nice, super friendly. We talked to him all the time. He knew the people in the sandwich shop, and was always like coming in, like, you know, getting money and coming in and getting a sandwich, and like everyone knew each other. And this one day though showed up, and the police were there, and they were like taking him away, and it was like, oh, I wonder what happened. And we walked in, and the people in the sandwich shop were like really sad, and they're like, he had something come up, and they're like, you know, he's a Vietnam vet, and kind of kept talking. And I can't remember exactly what happened or anything, but that stuck with me. And it was kind of the first time where I really thought about how, like, man, things could have gone really differently for my dad, you know, like that could have easily been him. If
catastrophically life-changing for the way that he interacts with the world.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, well, if he didn't, you know, I mean, therapy just wasn't really a thing, right? Back then it wasn't a thing.
Like, suck it up.
But like his ability to go out and like find some outlets for whatever he was experiencing, which I think really drove his passion for cycling and for being physically active. I think that
like movement
helped
was
him.
his medicine.
Absolutely. Yeah. And gave him space and time to think and just be, you know, like you have to kind of be with what is, and you have to be very present. And so I think, I don't know, there was something about that interaction where I was like, oh, my dad.
Grateful that your dad was able to process it the way he was.
Yeah.
He's a strong person.
Yeah.
To be able to hold space for his experiences there. And even if not perfect, well, far from it, he wasn't that.
Yeah.
How did it impact you having that dynamic, do you think?
Well, I mean, like with the idea of becoming a parent, at first I didn't want to be.
You didn't want to be a parent?
I felt like I didn't have like a solid example of it.
Yeah.
Not to the fault of anybody, just like I don't know how to do this.
Yeah.
But then somewhere along the way, I don't know, like it changed. And I was also like as a younger kid, I was never like, oh, look at that baby, I want to hold that baby, or I can't wait to babysit or like be a nanny, or I was like, oh, that's not me. Like I guess I don't really want kids. Like I don't want to.
And that changed at some point.
It changed at some point. Yeah, it did. And I can't say exactly what changed it, but I like made the choice and then actively pursued it and like took it on. Like I was very serious about the role, and I try to be really present with my kids and have conversations, and like that, God, it's helped me so much just in my ability to communicate and be willing to feel all the things. And I'm so grateful. And I often like will use an example of something I've experienced with my kids as a talking point for something during class, or it's just so immediately reflective, and like, you get feedback so quickly and authentically from your kids, that like you have to, I don't know, like unless you're not engaging, if you're choosing to engage, it's like as real as it gets. And it's so informational, and it's so, they care, even when it seems like they don't. It's like they want that connection. It's like you're both really working for the same thing, even though it doesn't always look the same. So I don't know. It helps inform the way I communicate with like everybody, with the world, I think, since becoming a mom and taking that on and being really intentional with it, as intentional as I can be, and, always learning and growing through that.
Yeah. What were you like as a kid?
It depended on, I think, the situation I was in.
Were you a good kid?
I was a good kid.
You made good grades?
Quiet. I made good grades.
Always went to school? You didn't skip?
I never skipped school.
Snuck out of the house?
I snuck out of the house and stood on the front porch, and I was just like, I could if I wanted to, and then I went back in.
You were a good kid.
I was a good kid. I swam competitively from the time I was 10.
So you were kind of an athlete kid.
I was an athlete kid, which swimming takes up a lot of time and energy. And there I found like this huge group of brothers and sisters who, I think it was sheltered in some way in terms of like, I wasn't experiencing a lot of like boy versus girl. Like we were all doing the same thing. And it's hard to not be yourself at 5:30 in the morning when you're 12 years old. Like it's hard to not be yourself jumping into water, cold water at that time of the day.
Almost all naked.
To train for an hour and a half. Yeah. Like you're nothing but yourself. So I felt like I had a very like authentic growing up. Yeah. And I'm really grateful for it. But it was a little jarring getting into like the real world and like, oh, like, I don't know how to explain it, but sometimes, in like office dynamics of like figuring all of that out. And
when
then
you started doing marketing and stuff?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Especially when I started doing graphic design and marketing.
Where did you go to school?
UT.
You went to UT? Mm-hmm. So you stayed in Austin?
I did. I didn't plan to, and I did. Here we are.
Did you do any walkabouts?
Walkabouts, not really.
Where you went out in the world?
No, I always wanted to. My degree's in photojournalism, and I kind of like, like we were talking about before we got started, like I really like people's stories. Mm-hmm. And I kind of envisioned myself like traveling and gathering stories, you know? Yeah. And, that might be part of the future.
Who knows?
But yeah, I didn't. I didn't go that route initially. I was a photographer's assistant for like a year and a half after college, and then decided that wasn't my thing. Didn't know what my thing was. I quit, and I was like, oh, I don't know what to do now. I have this degree. What do I do? Yeah. And a friend of mine from swimming, she was like 5 years older than me, but I'd run into her at some point while I was still in college, and she gave me a business card, and I was like, it was like my first business card. I held on to it, and didn't really, she was a graphic designer, didn't know what that was. But but I looked her up and she had just started her own business. And I asked her to lunch to pick her brain about like, what do I do? Like, here I am. And I have this degree. I know I don't want to do this thing. Like, what do I do? Not looking for a job, just looking for advice. And we went and ate lunch. And then she was like, she asked me to bring my portfolio with me as well. And I was like, okay. So showed her my pictures. And she was like, I'm getting busy here. I could use some help. Let me talk to my husband. And I ended up working for her for 20 hours a week, and it grew to 40 hours in like a month. And so I learned on the job. And then from there, started a graphic design business with 2 other girls who I'd met there. We had a business here in Austin for about 4 or 5 years. And then 2 of us had kids. One of them was like done with client meetings and client work, and has since become a very successul food blogger and has like 4 cookbooks out now. She's working on her 4th. I know.
Wow.
I know. And Trina is she's a very, very talented graphic designer.
When did yoga get into your life?
When did yoga get in my life? That's a good question. Yoga came in, I took that philosophy of yoga class.
Oh yeah, at UT.
In like 2001.
Hindu, then Buddhism, and then yoga.
Beautiful. Got it. And I didn't physically practice yoga for like probably another year. And then I started practicing and was just kind of off and on at that studio. And then about the time that I started the graphic design business with my 2 friends, I also got a part-time job at a local yoga studio doing graphic design for them. And I was with them for a number of years, and that's where I really got into my practice. That's where I did my teacher training.
So you would go and do yoga with them while you were doing graphic design for them?
Yeah. I was able to, like, I'd go work in the studio like one day a week or something. Yeah. And I could go take yoga anytime. But like, it was nice to just like take a little break.
And then,
slide into a class. And
so it happened kind of through the job.
It did. It kind of happened through the job. And when I finally signed up for teacher training, the owner of the studio, he was like, "We've been expecting you." I was like,
Really?
Yeah. I was like,
that's
really?
So cool.
Yeah. So, that was 2009. I graduated.
Wow.
With my 200-hour, and I started teaching
16 years ago.
I know. I started teaching, and then I got pregnant, and then stopped teaching because it was just too many new things. I was like curled in a ball in my car before teaching, and then I would go teach. I'd be fine. It's like I was a conduit for something else to just flow through me. I'd feel fine, and then I would just be like exhausted. I wasn't practicing. I just felt like this is too many new things at once. So I paused, and then another opportunity came up a couple of years later. Started teaching and found out I was pregnant with Anathan. I'm like, maybe I'm never supposed to teach. The universe is telling you something. Yeah. Maybe I'm not supposed to teach. Yet, exactly. And so paused that. That was just a temporary thing anyways. But then I was around kids a lot, and I was like, oh, this is, I think, what I actually want to do. I did my kids training.
And kids.
Yeah. Did my kids training in 2016.
That's what the universe was telling you. Every time you started teaching yoga, you'd have a kid.
The cycle.
And it was like, put kids and yoga together. Do it together.
Yeah. So I found, I find teaching kids and families like really fulfilling and rewarding and challenging, and I get to learn all the time while I'm doing it. I also did my permaculture. I got my design, like permaculture certification. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. PDC. Permaculture Design Certification. That's what I'm trying to say.
PDC.
2016 also.
Wow.
But I didn't pursue that as strongly.
Are you the one that's in charge of all those plants that are on the ceiling and everything?
We take turns.
Y'all take turns.
Yeah. Well, Mary is doing all those in there right now. Okay. I was for, I don't know, a while.
I love that vibe in there.
Thanks. Yeah.
I love the nature in the studio in general.
Me too. It's a lot of good
sometimes when I stand up and I rise and my hands come up there, I hit a little thing, and I'm like, oh, my bad. My bad, dude.
Yeah. And that's okay.
Vining out up there.
Totally. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, so that was my journey to yoga.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you've been doing it for a while now.
Been doing it for a while. Yeah. And been teaching kids for, it'll be 10 years next year, I guess.
Wow.
That's crazy.
And you,
too.
when I come into the studio and you're setting up, there's be like this like congregation of Beanie Babies, I think.
Oh,
all those
the
little
crawlers
bears.
and toddlers.
You put all those in their little circle, and I'm like, okay, the kids are about to have fun.
That's right. I bring them into the adult class sometimes too.
You do?
Have you been there?
No, not when you brought those. Oh yeah, you have. You given us each one, and I've had one. I have done that.
They're great. It's for our inner child.
It's for our inner child. I think that's one thing that makes Studio Satya unique is how y'all do focus on those stages of life. The toddlers and the tweens, the prenatal, y'all are kind of holding space for people of different age groups and different like phases.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it's great. It's wonderful, especially now we're starting to see like some moms who came to prenatal and then they came to baby and me and now they're in crawlers and toddlers. And it's really like the progression is there and the community is there. And I mean, sometimes it depends on the class, but sometimes like people come and they just want to talk. A lot of times it happens more in those like crawlers and toddlers, prenatal, baby and me, like those kinds of classes. But there are plenty of classes. I used to teach this one on Friday afternoons, and like people came, they just wanted to talk for like 30 minutes. And like that's the yoga too.
That is yoga, yeah.
The community, the connection, the sharing, listening, like that.
Yeah.
That self-reflection, that's all part of it. And I'm always really happy to see when there are those moments happening in classes, no matter what the class is, but all the ages, and seeing kids interact with each other, and then seeing like when class gets out and adults, talking to the kids or being not even just the parents. It's really, that part is like super, super sweet to witness and hold space for. Thanks. It's awesome.
Man, well, this time has flown by. Gosh, it's 3:48.
That's insane.
That is the mark of a beautiful convo. I could go probably longer.
I know.
Although I'm fasted today, and part of me is like, oh, this body needs to eat pretty soon.
You gotta eat. Yeah, you have to eat.
I've been doing the 16-8.
Okay, 16 off.
Mm-hmm. 16 off, 8 on. Yeah, my window's 8 hours.
Nice.
Which normally happens around 1. But it's fine. I don't mind stretching it.
Yeah, but
it's hard to think about food when I'm immersed in this like really fun and exciting. I was like astrology and all this stuff. It's like quickly, and my body's saying like, bro, it was whispering. Now it's like barking.
You got to listen.
So I want to continue this discussion with you, and I hope we can. We'll both think about it, but I'll definitely invite you to come back in and we could talk about growth, or we can find some other thing to explore for X number of hours.
Awesome.
Get lost in a world of conversing.
Yeah, I love it.
You speak so effortlessly about all these topics in a way that feels like it has flow and it has such wisdom and the poems and all the stuff. It's just really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. It's easy to talk with you. So yeah. Thank you.
Is there anything you want to share before I do like a little wrap up thing to these cameras?
I don't think so.
Yeah?
I feel okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm going to put the folder. All right. This has been Phil Phails at Cycles with Hollie Meador. She's co-owner of Studio Satya. She's a yoga teacher to kids and families mostly, but also to some adults. You might get a little bear when you go in there. Mm-hmm. She's an astrologer and a naturalist. And I've really enjoyed this time with you. I've enjoyed also practicing yoga with you at the studio.
Cool.
We've got, a lot of learning that I do in relationship to Hollie, and I'm grateful for all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grateful for this time with you for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. How do you like to end? Do you like hugs, handshakes, fist bumps, high fives?
I like hugs.
I hug.
All right.
Just move this aside.
Okay.
Boom. Get a hug on. Come here. Thank you so much, Hollie.